So this is my project, my final project for the ECE 101 lab. And what I built is just like a visual representation of a multi-factor authentication system. So like if you think of on your phone or like on different apps, you'll need like to go past multiple layers before you're let into their system. Like you put in your email, password, and username, and then you also have to like send the code or whatever. So this is just a visual representation of how it works. So we have switches switches 1, 2, and 3 that those are the first 3 like authentication steps. So for example, if you imagine like an app, those would be like username, password, email, right? On the login page. And so those 3 have to be flipped on. And so that. And then finally, this button is the last authentication step, and only when you hold it down will it work. This is like any switch would work for this. So then for the resistors, I had to use 3 pull-up resistors so like it allows this to work. And usually they'd be 3 10K ohm resistors, but we don't really have that. So in like the lab kit, we had to use the lab kit. So I used a 1 10K ohm resistor for switch 2. For switch 1, I used 2 51K ohm resistors. And then here, I combined a 2.2K ohm resistor with a 200 ohm resistor. And like it's working. Of course, this is going to allow like more current to go through, which I think is like dangerous for the LED. But it's like, I think it's just enough. Like the LED isn't too bright or anything. Originally it was just the 200 and the LED was really bright. So that wasn't good. And so then I added it works. Those are the 3 like pull-up resistors. They're the 250-100 are in series, and the 200 and the 2200 are in series. And then there's also another resistor that goes in front of the LED, in front of like the button. So like it limits the current flowing, the full current flowing to the LED. And so I used 2 AND gates to implement this logic. The first one takes the inputs from 1 and 2. So if both of those are turned on, then both will be 1. And then the output of that AND gate goes into one input of the second AND gate. And the input of the switch, switch 3, goes into the second AND gate. So it only ever turns on if all 3 switches are turned on. And then the button, of course, works how the button works. And originally when I was implementing this idea, I know in the lab kit we have like NOR and XOR gates. And so I was like trying to figure out like how to do it. I came up with this design and I was trying to implement it, but like halfway into doing that, I realized like it was being a bit weird. And I was like, there has to be an easier way to do this. And then I realized like I could just do it with 2 AND gates. And so the 2 AND gates, I implemented it and I added the button for like an extra like quote unquote security measure. So that's the project. I'm running off the ADA LM right now.